I teach the same class but give 3 different lectures in the same day. The 8 o'clock class, because they have the benefit of going first, they chose to do the introduction and talking about the project lecture. So you get either descriptive statistics or probability as your lecture. And I will let you actually choose which lecture you want. So do you want descriptive statistics? Or do you want probability? Yeah, they're both about the same. Okay, how many for descriptive statistics? How many for probability? Okay, we're going with descriptive statistics. You've been outvoted.
Abstain.
Now, if this was the U.S. Senate, you could be Jim Bunning, and, well, we wouldn't get anything done then, but... So, okay. So today what we're going to do is talk about descriptive statistics.
This is going to force me to pay attention today.
So if you go, one thing you need to do today for this is to get on the computer. I'll actually show you SPSS today. I'm just going to get on the computer at this point. I'll fire that up in a few. So today what we want to do is just talk about descriptive statistics. Now, with descriptive statistics, it's just, this is the only day we're actually going to spend on this topic. And while a lot of people think this is the heart of statistics in terms of taking a data set and describing the characteristics of the data set, what we really are going to want to do is be able to take descriptive statistics and be able to make statements about the entire population. So I want to be able to take a data set where I've talked to maybe 100 Towson students and then be able to extrapolate those results to talk about what are all Towson students like. So that's my goal with descriptive statistics, is be able to describe the basic characteristics of a data set. And what we can think about with descriptive statistics is there's 3 ways of describing data, or 3 basic ways. We can describe data by what central tendency is. We can describe data by describing what the variation in the data is. And with variation, we could also describe it as the spread of our data. And finally, we could describe our data by its shape. So these are 3 ways of describing our data. We can describe our data by its central tendency. What do we think is the most likely event to occur? Or where are sort of these main events occurring at? What is the spread or variation of the data in terms of, once we know what the central tendency is, how likely are we to be above or below that central tendency? Is the data packed around the central tendency, or is it spread away from that central tendency? And then finally, what is the shape of it in terms of, is this like income data where most people have income below $100,000. But if we look at household data, there are definitely households that are well above $100,000. So you have football players and baseball players, sports figures who are over $1 million. You have movie stars that are in 10, 20, 30 million. You have Oprah. Well, Oprah's probably her own country. But you have people like that who, who knows how much money Oprah makes in a year. And so there's also this idea of shape to the data. Okay? Is the data spread evenly around the mean, or does the data have a tendency to either have some very high figures or some very low figures? So what we're going to do today is we're actually going to go through and analyze a data set to be able to make some statements about that data set. So what we want to do is I want to show you SPSS for the first time today. So if you go onto Blackboard first, so just going to line up Blackboard. So in Blackboard, this is where I'll put your the other lectures I'm videotaping today. So later on today, I'll have the lecture for the introduction and talking about your project, and I'll also have the lecture on probability posted here. I'll also post this lecture, but you've been here, so it won't come as much of a surprise. But if we go into course documents, and then what we want to do is we want to go into data sets. So in this case, what we're going to do is we want to pick up this data set on housing prices. Now, we're going to see if this works, because it hasn't always in the past. If we click on it, hopefully, yeah, I think it's going to work. You've chosen to open this. It'll say that open with statistics, which is the default. Click OK, and let's see if that works. Maybe it won't work. Oh, there it goes. Okay. How many of you have got it open? How many of you don't have it open yet? Okay. What you can do, if SPSS is open, like I noticed on yours, what you should be able to do is, if you right-click on it, you should be able to save it. And like you could save it to the desktop and then open it up. So what we have here is we have this data set. Now, you'll get used to this data set because pretty much every day that we're going to do anything with data, this is the data set that we're going to be using. So at the start of class, probably a good idea to just load up this data set and get it ready for you. So what we have is we have information about the selling price of houses. So this first column here is the selling price of houses. As you can see, this is not current Maryland data, because if you found a house for $71,000 here in the state of Maryland, I wonder sort of what type of house it was. We have the information about the square footage of the house, how many bedrooms,